Assalamu alaikum, guys. My name is Delta, and today I will be talking to you about how I converted to Islam. So it started, back last year in 2020. Sorry. Um, so basically, my boyfriend at the time, he had gone to Nigeria, and sorry, he went to Nigeria to see his mom, and it had been quite a long time since they hadn't seen each other, almost 9 years. And when he went to see her, you know, she kept reminding him about, Islam, about praying and stuff, because for him, he was a secular Muslim. He wasn't a practicing Muslim. And he was actually like me because, I was a Christian before. I used to go to church, and I was actually in the choir. So, yeah, and he went there, and his mom basically used to talk to him about Islam, and also how like his dad passed away, and how he had the garment for the Muslim men, and she wanted him to wear them. And so when he came back to Canada, he was like, he started going to he came back to Canada. He started going to the mosque, and I started praying from there. And then one and he would ask me, he would ask me, how is Jesus God, all that stuff. And then I would literally tell him that Jesus is just God. You know what I mean? Like, he's just God. Basically, I didn't have any answers to his questions, that he would ask me, right? And then he'll be like, so, like, what is your answer specifically? And then I'll be like, basically, Jesus is just God. I didn't have any answers to that, because I was only told to believe that Jesus is God, which is very, I know, it's very bad. But yeah, I didn't know anything about that, and I was just trying to make him believe that Jesus is really God. You get what I mean? And he said, oh no, like, he would be like, no, that's not true, you're lying, and you don't even have the answer to my question, which was true. I didn't have the answer to his question. And after that, we would just brush it off, just forget about it, and move on to the next topic. And then when I went to see him on Eid, it was last year in May, yeah, on Eid. When I went to see him, because we're doing long distance relationship, so I went to see him, and I was actually shocked when he was actually praying. Like, he was actually praying like 5 times a day, prostrating to God, doing sujood and all that stuff. And I could see the change in him. I saw the way he changed. I saw how peaceful he was, and it made me, envy him. That kind of envy, like, where you want, what the person wants. But basically I was envying his faith, right? He was really doing good, and I was happy for him, and I wanted that kind of faith too, because he was doing great. He was just so peaceful and calm, and I wanted that calmness, I wanted that peace as well. But I didn't know how to, I didn't know how to search for that kind of happiness, that kind of faith, that kind of peace, because even though they had taught me to believe that Jesus is God, even though they had taught me to believe in nonsense, I didn't know how, like, I forgot about it as well. Like, I became a secular Christian, that was drinking, partying, and all that bad stuff. And I completely forgot about God, and I turned away from him. And I didn't know what to do, And one time before I went to see him on on Eid, I I asked him, you know, I told him that I wouldn't wanna, I wouldn't want our relationship to continue because he was Muslim and I was Christian, and I knew how much like my mom wouldn't be supportive of that because she is a pastor, and I knew that I was going to disappoint her, so I wasn't doing for me, I wasn't doing for my heart, I was doing it for my family. And I was really sounding very arrogant because I didn't know what Islam was at the time. I didn't know what the religion was, and that was so sad for me because I didn't want to know about it because I knew it was so strange and weird, and I judged it because I didn't know anything, so I was ignorant, right? I was ignorant the fact that I didn't want to know what it is, and I was also arrogant because I assumed that you know it's a bad religion, and I wouldn't want to be a part of it. You get what I mean? So I had told him, no, I can't. We cannot continue that like that, And something just kept me. Something kept me going, we kept going, and then after that, after some months, I would see him pray, would just watch lectures, watch debates on how like Jesus is not God, just like interesting debates and interesting lectures, how like you know basically our whole purpose in this life, that one day we shall all die and we shall all go back to our Creator. I was never taught that in Christianity. I was never taught anything about that in Christianity, and I started getting interested, in the deen. Like I started getting interested. I started asking him so many questions about Muslim women. Why do they wear headscarves? Or, I started, knowing more about, them praying 5 times a day. That it wasn't just a culture. That it was something that, that was ordered. That was, ordered by God. And yeah, but it's something that was, that triggered me, right? I started enjoying it every time I would go to him, to his house, to his place. I started getting interesting more and more. I would ask him so many questions, and and then one day I asked him to teach me how to pray. I was like, can you please teach me how to pray? Like, I want to learn how to pray, And even before that, he used to tell me, he used to tell me to always mention Allah's name before going to bed, before closing my eyes to sleep. And I would ask him why, and he would be like, because you don't know when you're gonna die. Like, you just don't know when you're gonna die. You don't know when you will leave this world. So it's good that you always mention Allah's name before going to sleep, in your everyday life, because you just don't know. And so I was like, okay. So I started saying the names of Allah. And it's funny because whenever I would say all those names, not even names, like inshallah, bismillah, la ilaha illallah, alhamdulillah, subhanallah, all those good names of Allah, I would completely sleep right after that. Like, I would just fall asleep, when before going to sleep, you just like thinking, oh man, like, what am I gonna do tomorrow? Oh my God, like, work, all that stuff. But I would completely forget about that, and I would just sleep in a peaceful way, and I would wake up in the next morning and I'd be like, oh wow, how come I didn't think about anything but just slept away, right? So I found it really, really very nice and interesting. And yeah, he taught me how to pray after that, and he asked me, are you sure? Like, because he never used to he never forced me in anything. I would ask, and then he was like, "Are you sure?" And then I was like, "Yes, I'm sure." And he was like, "Okay." And then I started praying. I did sujood and all that good stuff. And I was feeling very calm. I felt really peaceful, and it was really nice. I loved it. And after that, we just talk about Allah, and it's just the atmosphere changed. He brought us more, calmness into our lives, and I loved it. And then after that, I decided to go back home. And then when I went back home, I remember I was working. I remember it was right after I finished work. I went back. I went to the bathroom. Then I came back. And then I looked at the bathroom again, and I was like, I want to pray. Like, I really want to pray. I don't want to do it when I'm with my boyfriend, you know. When I'm with my husband, sorry, it was my boyfriend at the time. And I just want to do it alone. I want to be connected with God all alone. Like, I want to know how it feels. And I did wudu, because he had taught me how to do wudu. So I went and did wudu, everything, and then I came back, and I didn't even have prayer mat. I didn't have any garment. The only garment that I had was just like the kaftans, those African kaftans. And I wore it, and I wore my scarf, my head scarf, and I just, from right there, and then I just went and I started praying. And it was just something very nice. It was so peaceful. Like, I loved it. And when I look back, it's like I knew how connected I was to God, right? Like, I knew how connected I was to God. It's like it was me in the moment with Allah and nothing else. And it's not like I know how to recite, Surah Fatiha or anything. I was just saying the names of Allah, doing sujood, and just trying to find that peace, from Allah. And I loved it. And from there, I never looked back. And to this day, I still pray. Alhamdulillah, I now pray 5 times a day, and that's what I love. And although sometimes, something happens to me, not happens, but like whenever like I get like some bad news or anything that stresses me out, like, it affects me, but it doesn't affect me like before, where I'd be like, oh my God, like, I'm so stressed out, I'm depressed, like, I want to kill myself. No. But for me, it is like, I look at it as a blessing, because it brings me back. It brings me closer, even more closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which I love the most. And I'm happy right now, and I'm content with my life. The fact that he even gave me this gift, and I don't know, like, I just hope and pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that I die as a Muslim, because it is the most amazing thing that could ever happen to you and I. Dying as a Muslim, knowing that you died as a believer, knowing that you died, while, praying to only one God, our Creator, the one and only who created us, the one who created the 7 heavens and the earth, and everything in this earth, and everything in our life, the one who created us, like our arms, our faces, and everything, So it's something interesting. And yes, life has become more peaceful, and I'm content with my life right now. Before, I used to stress out, to be stressed so much about stuff. I used to be so ungrateful, very ungrateful. I was such an ungrateful individual. Like, I wouldn't lie to you. I was such an ungrateful individual, and it would lead me to a depressed life. I was so unhappy. I remember when I got my first, my this apartment, my first apartment. And the 2 weeks later, because I thought maybe it was going to bring me even, more happiness in my life. I remember one time I sat down and I was drinking wine, and I was feeling so empty. I was like, why am I empty all of a sudden? I thought, I got my apartment and now I should be even more happier. But no, like, I don't know. It was really bad for me, and Allah guided me, Alhamdulillah, and I thank Him so 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 much, and I'm so content with my life, and I'm just happy with my life right now. I don't know, I'm so like excited. I'm excited for the ups and downs, for the hardships, for everything. And yeah. Until then, guys, thank you so much for listening to me. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. This is my new YouTube channel, so please subscribe, comment, and share when you can. And bye. I love you guys. Bye bye.